Right now, we'll look at the aftermath of Helene in Florida and the Southeast, where the system is now and where it's headed. And a month into the school year, we'll take you to the Middleton Cross Plains district, where they're looking to crack down on a high number of drivers illegally passing school buses. Plus, months after their alleged involvement in UW campus protests, we'll talk to students who now say they may be subject to disciplinary action by the university. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 5. We do have breaking news at this hour. The state Supreme Court has just announced Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will remain on the ballot in Wisconsin. This after Kennedy Jr. sued to have himself removed from the ballot after he had dropped out of the presidential race last month. Now, Wisconsin law says that the only way a candidate can be removed from the ballot after submitting the necessary signatures is to die. Last week, the Wisconsin Elections Commission recommended the Wisconsin Supreme Court take up the case. Next at 5, crews are racing all across the South to rescue those stranded by the damage and the flooding from Hurricane Helene. That storm made landfall about 10:25 Central Time last night. It has since been working its way northward, with many homes losing power by the minute. 35 people now have lost their lives in this storm across 4 states. And many others had their homes destroyed by falling trees and high winds, and they say they're just fortunate to be alive.
But honey, it's time for God to get on your knees and pray, because it could have been worse than this. We could have been gone. And Lord, I thank you every day for letting me see another day.
Now, the federal government is mobilizing 1,500 rescue personnel to the affected states. At this moment, over 4 million people are without power and facing impassable roads due to downed power lines and debris. 50 health care facilities report operating on generator power in the state of Florida. Emergency evacuation orders are still being issued in states like North Carolina, where Appalachian areas could see isolated rain totals near 20 inches. And now we take a live look at downtown Nashville, where the storms are continuing. But on the other side of Tennessee, near the North Carolina state line, dozens of people needed to be rescued from a hospital rooftop in Irwin, Tennessee. That's a small town sandwiched between mountains on either side. Luckily, rescue officials say they did reach the 54 people by helicopter and boat. State agencies are now reporting they've rescued at least 400 people so far in the wake of the storm. And Helene's impact is really being felt throughout the entire country. And News 3 Now's Tanisha Shaw is covering how the storm could affect travelers right here in Dane County.
Hundreds of flights are delayed or canceled after Helene made landfall. Thankfully for passengers here at Dane County's regional airport, that is not the case, but that could change.
We do expect our flights to be impacted by the storm and the hurricane.
On Thursday, Helene made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 hurricane.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
One of the busiest airports in the country is Atlanta, and they're seeing more than 500 cancellations and delays, according to FlightAware. This can eventually impact Madison's airport.
Okay, but if you start looking at it from a network perspective, that plane has to get to you in the first place, right? So maybe where it's coming from, there's bad weather. It might not even get to where, if it's connecting through Atlanta, it can't get to Atlanta in order to get to Madison. So if you really look at it from a network perspective, it's like a ripple in a pond.
Airport officials told me there's no way to tell exactly when or if Dane County Regional Airport will see a major impact. If you have a flight that is near Helene's path, they ask that you plan to arrive early.
Check with your airline. They're going to have the most up-to-date information about your flight and how weather is impacting your flight. So if it does show it's on time, arrive to the airport a little bit early, so you can control all of the variables that you can.
Tonight at 6, I interview a person that's flight has been delayed for hours after the storm made landfall. Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
So for more on tracking what's left of Helene, in our weekend forecast, meteorologist Blaze Keller is on the weather patio. Blaze?
Yes, and for the most part, while we were initially maybe hoping to get some rain out of what is left of Helene, we're most likely going to continue to experience what we've been experiencing all day today through at least Saturday, which is the breezy conditions and a little bit of cloud cover, especially farther south and east. Gusts upwards of 15, 20, 25, almost 30 miles per hour, if not at 30 miles per hour along the Lake Michigan shoreline. Again, this is really going to be our primary effects from Helene. She's moving backwards, retrograding, but not far enough that we get any rain, just that little bit of cloud cover, especially farther south and east. And these breezy conditions throughout the rest of this evening and throughout your Saturday as well. Future Track tries to paint a little bit more cloud cover than what's actually out there. So again, probably tonight, a lot of us are probably going to sit underneath mostly clear to clear conditions with those breezy northeasterly winds. It's farther south and east that we're going to hold on to more of those partly cloudy to maybe mostly cloudy at times weather conditions. Future Track wind gusts, again, as Helene continues to slowly move backwards, those gusts are still going to be breezy at times, even as we go overnight into your Saturday. But by Sunday, she pretty much breaks down, and that means that our wind gusts break down as well. 50s tonight, maybe a few upper 50s to low 60s in parts of Rock County, Walworth County, Jefferson County, closer towards the Milwaukee area. We're going to track out when Helene officially breaks down, and then how her breakdown actually allows us to cool on down in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. This week is National Safe Stop Week, focusing on the illegal passing of school buses while the lights are flashing and the stop arm is out. Just under a month now into the school year, the Middleton Cross Plains District says it's had reports of 26 illegal bus passings and far more where they weren't able to identify the license plate. Cross Plains Police Chief Tony Ruska says some relatively new legislation makes the penalty for passing a stopped school bus far more severe.
We pretty much take a no-nonsense approach to that. We investigate all illegal bus passings. And just as a reminder, the law has since changed since March 2024, making it a much heftier fine. It's in the ballpark of $700.
Passing a stopped school bus with a stop arm out and flashing lights can also add 3 points to your license on top of the heavy fine. Chief Ruska added that distracted driving is a major factor in a consistent uptick of drivers ignoring stopped school buses, primarily people on their phones while driving. He also said that if you are found to be texting while driving, you can be cited for that as well, on top of an illegal passing citation. 2 UW-Madison students could be facing disciplinary action from the university for their alleged involvement in last spring's encampment and protests on Library Mall. Our Ellie LaLiberte spoke with one of the students today about why she is pushing back on the university's actions.
Library Mall was very different just a couple of months ago, but the effects of what happened here during the encampment are still playing out for Dahlia Saba. Dahlia Saba is no stranger to political activism and has been very vocal when speaking up about the war in Gaza.
We, showed our support for the encampment and said that the university should divest. We criticized the university's investment policies.
After she took her thoughts to an op-ed in the Cap Times, she got this letter from the university.
We see this as a pretty direct violation of academic freedom, of students' right to speak publicly about political opinions.
The university opened an investigation against her and her co-author. Saba was informed of this in July. The letter sent to her, which she shared with News 3, cites that op-ed, referencing lines like, quote, "We began our encampment on the 205th day of genocide in Gaza." Saba says using words like "we" doesn't mean she broke the rules on campus. She says she was just supporting the movement.
In that case, it's pretty obvious that "we" does not mean to graduate students. It means the university as a whole and the university community.
The university did not have anyone to comment on camera, saying the details of this case are protected by federal privacy laws. However, in a statement to News 3, the university says, quote, "We care deeply about the well-being of our students and their rights of free expression." They continue by saying, quote, "It's important to note that all student misconduct hearings are judged impartially." But Saba feels differently. She says she feels targeted.
And we see these student conduct cases broadly as intended to intimidate students who stand in solidarity with Palestine.
The university saying she has the right to bring her arguments to a hearing committee. Saba's hearing is scheduled for 1 p.m. on October 4th. She has filed to make that open to the public. Reporting on Library Mall, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
And next at 5, former UW lacrosse chancellor Joe Gao loses his teaching tenure following his firing for making pornographic films. The UW Board of Regents voted unanimously today to revoke Gao's teaching tenure. He served as chancellor at UW lacrosse for roughly 17 years and argued he should still be able to hold a teaching position. But university attorneys argued that while Gao did not do anything illegal by making pornography, the First Amendment does not protect that form of expression under his employment contract. Governor Tony Evers is ordering flags to be flown at half-staff tomorrow. It's in honor of firefighters who have died in the line of duty. The order is in line with the final alarm ceremony at the Wisconsin Fire and EMS Memorial. The governor says, quote, "We will continue to honor the bravery and selflessness of those firefighters who have tragically fallen in the line of duty. This is one of 3 flag lowerings ordered by Governor Evers to honor firefighters this year. Coming up, meteorologist Blaze Keller returns. A complete look at your weekend forecast as we track Helene's path into the Midwest, and how UW-Madison students came together today to build devices to help children who might need a little help walking. We'll take you to their Make-a-thon. That's next. And the markets change with another close the week with another record high close for the Dow, up almost 138 points. The Nasdaq pulls back 71. The S&P falls 7, and we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, brought to you by Cardinal Heating and Air Conditioning.
This shouldn't take too long, should it?
I'll have the unit up and running in a jiffy. Oh, sorry, I have to go to the shop. Sorry, I don't have that part either. Sorry, I don't have that part either.
But you said it would be quick. A fully stocked truck can make a huge difference. Call Cardinal.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
This is a hallway. Doesn't evoke much feeling. But to those facing cancer or a complex condition, it feels like relief. Because all the doctors, treatments, and technology you've been fighting to find, they're all right here, under one roof, connected by hallways instead of highways. East Park Medical Center, coming soon. UW Health, remarkable.
Our retirement savings account is safe because we made the switch to a Medicare supplement plan. We had Medicare Advantage, but had seen too many friends give up the things they love due to unexpected medical expenses. We found a better way.
Gas, groceries, school supplies, everything costs more. Eggs are almost twice as much as they were 4 years ago. Biden, Harris, and the Democrats keep telling us things are better. They aren't better. And Tammy Baldwin is making it worse, raising taxes, running up debt, voting for spending that's driving inflation. 25 years in Washington, and she's done nothing. It's time for a change.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
We're cranking up the voltage, Wisconsin. Lottery retailers all around the state are lighting up with the latest limited time offer. It's Badger 5, 5 will get you 6. During the month of September, players who buy a $5 or greater Badger 5 ticket will receive a bonus ticket for the next drawing of Badger 5. This electric offer is only available for a limited time and only at Wisconsin lottery retailers.
I'm Joan Balwig, and these days the cost to make Great-Grandma Balwig's Blue Ribbon banana bread is, well, just nuts. Wisconsin families are feeling the pinch of inflation, even on the basics. That's why I work to put dough back in your pockets. Led the effort to defend our family farms and pass the biggest tax cut in state history, because the only way to make life affordable again is to do what banana bread does and bring everyone to the table.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back. And happening tonight, New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is in Madison campaigning for the Harris-Walz ticket. Political reporter Will Keneally is outside the Orpheum on State Street with the very latest. Will?
Well, Eric, if you didn't think Wisconsin was important enough, last week, literally a week ago on Friday, we had Harris in Madison here. Now we have New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now we're expecting her to speak around 6 p.m. Talking about reproductive health and freedom. Now that's something that Democrats have been running on for quite a while, both 2 years ago and then certainly will be a dominant issue this campaign. We're also expecting, just from the campaign, they gave us a little bit of a heads up. We might hear them invoke Project 2025. That's a conservative game plan for if Trump were to be elected come next year, kind of what a conservative presidency would look like. And Democrats trying to draw a distinction between what they say would be a Harris presidency going forward and another Trump presidency. Now, the difference from one of these rallies compared to like a Harris rally, for example, Harris might sway some undecided voters
Now, this rally will certainly be to turn out the base. I want to show you briefly here the line that you can see outside, kind of wrapping around the corner down here on State Street. So these are the people that will be kind of energized. When we talk about these rallies, this will be the people that might, be energized by what AOC has to say tonight and might go do some door knocking this weekend. So again, we'll expecting her to speak at 6. We'll continue to provide you coverage throughout the night. But for now, reporting from downtown Madison, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, Will, thank you. The Madison Fire Department says it rescued 5 people from an elevator in a building on the UW campus. Crews were called to the UW Student Services Tower on East Campus Mall about 5:30. This was Tuesday evening. The elevator stalled between the first and third floor. There is no second floor apparently at that building. Firefighters lowered a 24-foot ladder into the elevator and rescued all 5 people. Several young children will have access to a wheelchair after over 50 UW-Madison students participated in a make-a-thon event. The students worked together to build toddler mobility trainers or customized small wheelchairs to give children the ability for independent movement. Amber Zedek, technical program coordinator for Tikkun Olam Makers, or TOM, says events like these bring hope to families with children who cannot walk for themselves.
It's the most special experience, and it brings tears of joy to your eyes watching these kids that have never been able to move independently, be able to move independent, and parents who are always worried about their child going from place to place. They have to always keep an eye on them, are now able to take a deep breath and do things that they want to be doing.
And Zedek added that these wheelchairs help young children learn how to move, as insurance generally requires children to prove they can use the mechanisms of a wheelchair before it'll be covered by insurance. If you're interested in other open source mobility products, their mission, or volunteering, check out tomglobal.org. Let's get a complete look at your forecast now. Blaze, time for the forecast.
All right, I think we're having a little bit of mic issues there. We are continuing to really track out Helene. When she made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane, she had a pressure of 938. So the lower that number, the stronger a hurricane or a low pressure system is. So she was a fairly strong hurricane, to say the least, with winds sustained at 140 miles per hour. So kind of in the middle ground of the Category 4 hurricane wind speed threshold, albeit maybe slightly on the stronger side. The 9th major hurricane, so Category 3 or above, to hit the U.S. Gulf Coast since 2017, and possibly the first Category 4 or Category 5 hurricane to hit the Big Bend area of Florida since 1850, and that is an area stretching from about just to the east of Panama City all the way to about Perry, Florida, so kind of right in that bend just south of Tallahassee. Not to say that hurricanes haven't hit there, but this would possibly be the first Category 4. Certainly, we have not seen a Category 5 hurricane make landfall in that area since the 1800s. So where is she now? She's continuing to spin essentially over parts of Kentucky, southwestern Indiana, as well as central parts of Tennessee. She has not moved and is not expected to move here over the next few days. So that means strong winds, heavy rains for a lot of the areas that have already been dealing with these rains, the historic flooding, and the threat for tornadoes as well. She's now turned post-tropical, so she's lost that tropical air mass, but she's still packing quite a punch. You can see her wind field, if you will. Those wind gusts topping almost 50 miles per hour in Indianapolis, 31 in Paducah, 29 in Cincinnati. Those winds circulating around her center somewhere in this area. So what does that mean for us at home? Well, until she breaks down, which isn't going to happen until Sunday, really, we're going to continue to deal with the breezy conditions. Hurricanes, tropical systems, they really like water, but what they really hate is up and down movement of air. That tears them apart, and that's what's going to happen here as we head throughout the weekend. So once she weakens, we can now finally start to introduce other systems back into the Midwest, because she's kind of acting like a big bubble, pushing that jet stream further into Canada. So when that cold front starts to move out of the Dakotas Monday night into our neck of the woods by Tuesday, we cool down into more of those upper 60s to low 70s from the 80s on Monday into Tuesday, and then further into those mid 60s on Wednesday. I think Future Track has the temperatures just flip-flop, because usually it takes about a day before that cooler air really sets up shop. So I think we cool into Tuesday, but our coolest day will be Wednesday. And because she's staying too far to our south and east, a lot of that rain is going to stay off to our south and east as well. So we could have certainly used that, but for now, we'll just deal with the cloud cover at times and those breezy conditions. Back into those upper 70s to low 80s for your Saturday. Less cloud cover the farther north and west you live. There's a look at that 7 and 10-day forecast. Upper 60s when October begins, but maybe some showers by the end of next week.
Blaze, thank you. We have just gone over an important threshold with our Coats for Kids campaign, but we still have a sprint to the finish. And we have collected 1,553 coats and winter gear items with just 8 days to go. If you have a new or gently used coat or winter accessory, drop them off at any Clinky Cleaners location. If you don't have anything to donate, you can also donate online at channel3000.com. Just ahead, a year after extreme heat wiped out the Twin Cities Marathon, it's back on. We'll look at the efforts being made for its return next at 5.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Right now, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. So when you purchase your new concrete coating, you get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off installation or 60-month no-interest financing. This is one of our best deals of the year, so visit our website or call the number for your new floor today. Turn your old deck into dollars. You can trade in your old deck and earn cash back towards a brand new deck that is backed by our extensive lifetime warranty. All you have to do is visit TradeInMyDeck.com, answer a few quick questions, and you'll see your estimated trade-in value instantly. Visit TradeInMyDeck.com.
I'm a two-time Trump voter.
In 2024, I cannot support Donald Trump.
Trump is 100%
responsible for January 6th. His treatment of women is just disgusting.
Trump called servicemen suckers and losers.
If Trump has a second term, it will be much worse than the first.
Kamala Harris is a prosecutor.
He's a convicted felon. In 2024,
I will be proudly voting for Kamala Harris.
Republican Accountability PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
There are over 21,000 Wisconsin veterans struggling to pay for rent and utilities.
Thank you for your service.
Many are also facing issues with their mental health.
Thank you for your service.
We must do more to help these heroes who have already sacrificed so much.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Words simply aren't enough.
I'm sorry.
Make a difference by donating to this critical Wisconsin survival safety net today.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Fentanyl is killing over 1,000 people a year in Wisconsin. New reporting shows that Eric Hubdy is doing business with a bank accused of links to the Mexican drug cartel. Banco Azteca loaded up $26 million in cash and flew it to Eric Hubdy's bank in California. Other U.S. banks have cut ties with this Mexican bank, but Eric Hubdy took their money. That's 26 million more reasons you can't trust Eric Hubdy.
Pella windows and doors are best in class, not only from the endless styles, but for the features you can't see. Pella manufactures, tests, installs, services, and warranties their products, meaning quality craftsmanship and innovative design are built into every Pella window and door for timeless beauty and performance. Get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
After being canceled last year, the Twin Cities Marathon is back in motion. Former News 3 Now reporter Adam Duxter is in Minneapolis. He tells us what goes into the planning of such a large run.
If planning a marathon was a marathon itself,
it's a high degree of organized chaos.
Dean Orton might call these days,
there's always those unexpected little twists and turns.
The final kick. The Twin Cities Marathon sold out nearly 2 weeks in advance. Nearly half the field.
It's not easy to do.
Made up of racers who'd signed up for last year's canceled race.
was not simple to do what we did, and making those hard decisions, and at the end of the day, that stands out.
Marathon training is a bear.
Runners like Dre House praying for a picture-perfect do-over.
Hopefully this is that perfect year for us. Never know. It's part of the dice roll when you sign up.
A dice roll, Orton says.
Heat is a much more prevalent variable to deal with.
Organizers can't afford to gamble on.
This year, we're just preparing for red right out of the box. We found it's easier to scale those down than to be ready to scale them back up in a week or so.
When it comes to this long run, they've already got the race's long run in mind.
We're going to start to look at 2026 and beyond. If those probabilities over time look like, the first week in October becomes less and less green and more likely of black level, then that's something we're prepared to look at and to make a change.
In Minneapolis, Adam Doxter, WCCO News.
Well, the charity organization Twin Cities in Motion that helps put on the event donates to various charities in the city. On its website, it has a goal of $45,000. It's so far raised over $50,000. And we'll be back. Final check of your First One forecast after a short break.
My husband and I are going through IVF treatments now. It could be our only chance to have a family. But Donald Trump's plan could ban IVF in some states. My husband is in the military. He volunteered to serve. We are patriots and we go where he is assigned. What if we end up in a state where IVF is no longer legal? What will we do then?
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Every spring, the love of my life came here to paint. Cress helped us make sure she's never forgotten.
We are Cress. We truly believe your memories matter.
Get an 11% rebate on your kitchen upgrade with help from Menards. It's easy to create your dream kitchen with Clearview Cabinetry, offering a selection of finishes made with the finest materials and built to withstand life's sticky messes. Clearview Cabinetry offers features like soft closed doors and drawers and cabinet accessories to match your unique style. Get these Stroma kitchen cabinets for $29.89.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Meet Edwin Ramos. This illegal immigrant murdered 3 Americans. An MS-13 gang member, Ramos was arrested for a gun crime. But as DA, Kamala didn't prosecute him. Months later, Ramos murdered a man and his 2 sons in cold blood.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Not everyone knows us, but in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana, we are famous in our field. As a Sloan's technician, customer service is our specialty, whether you come to see us or we come to you. We are in the business of supporting your business, and we are highly trained to work on your John Deere equipment. At Sloan's, our loyalty lies with you. We depend on you, and we are proud to serve you. When it comes to service, you can count on us. Remember, think Sloan's first.
Brian Stiles said he's proud of his extreme record. So why is he lying about it? Stiles said he was proud to be part of a group pushing to gut Social Security and Medicare, that he proudly supports abortion bans. And Brian Stiles said he's proud to be backed by extremists pushing a total ban nationwide. Peter Barca's backed by police, firefighters, and unions because Peter puts Wisconsin first, no matter the party, and that's something to be proud of.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Coming up tonight on the CBS Evening News, Hurricane Helene turns deadly, killing more than 30 people in 4 states. We're tracking the devastation across the southeast and the dire situation on the ground as people try to stay safe and where the storm will hit next. That and much more tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Well, if you're a Prince fan, then you have a chance to stay in the Purple Rain house. It's in Minneapolis. It was featured in the 1984 movie Purple Rain. The renovated space is filled with memorabilia from the film and Prince's career. It's all through Airbnb. It offers a dinner prepared by Prince's former chefs, a spa treatment inspired by When Doves Cry, and access even to instruments. The cost, just $7, but there's only a month's worth of reservations available. Probably already filled up before we even get done with this story. Let's go to Blaze. Final check of the forecast and then final look at Helene and its impact in the Midwest.
Yeah, breezy conditions here. You know, thankfully we're not dealing with any of that flooding rain. Could have used a little bit, but you know, just slowly clearing out these clouds and breezy conditions is pretty much all that we're going to feel as we head throughout the weekend. 80s by Sunday, certainly there by Monday, and then as October starts, it starts to feel like fall. Upper 60s to mid to upper 60s. Both Tuesday and Wednesday before back into the 70s with a shower chance by next Friday.
And of course, we'll be talking a lot more about Helene's impacts next on the CBS Evening News, and then we'll be back with more in 30 minutes on News 3 Now.